Okay. Yo, what's up, guys? It's Terrell here. This is a response to Jay on Jay's Playground of a video that he put up today, even though he recorded an ass a while ago. Kind of talking about how Pokemon, in terms of analyzing it, in terms of it being a deeper story, sucks, and how Inazuma 11 is so much better. Because I haven't watched Inazuma 11, I'm not going to say anything really about it. I might just tell you why I don't really care to watch it. But that's about it. And then the rest of the video is going to be just to defend Pokemon on its good points. Because I feel like everybody sees Pokemon's flaws, but no one ever looks at its good points. And to me, that's kind of aggravating. Just because Pokemon isn't as bad as people like to put it. They put a lot of people put Pokemon on like a whole low-ass level. Like it's just commercial fodder. And to a point it is, but there are points in Pokemon that people just don't seem to recognize. So I want to just use that and defend that whole analytical side. Because Pokemon does have development, but let me just talk about Inazuma 11 real quick. The reason why I want to get Inazuma 11 is because Inazuma 11 looks like it's on the same level as... It seems like it's on the same level as Pokemon, but like Yu-Gi-Oh! Kind of deepness thrown into it, which comes off as really weird to me. Like it just does. Like here's my thing. It's a sports anime that has kind of like the same level of ridiculousness as like Eyeshield 21 or... I haven't watched enough sports anime, but Eyeshield 21 has like the most amount of ridiculous in it. And it looks like it's more ridiculous than Eyeshield 21 in what it does. Like it's like soccer put at like a ridiculous, like it's like soccer mixed with Bakugan essentially. That's what it looks like. It looks like Bakugan. It looks like Bakugan if Bakugan was a soccer anime, and because it's for kids. And there's nothing really wrong with that, but it's just not really appealing to me. Like if I'm gonna watch a soccer anime, I'd rather watch something that's on the level of Hajime no Ippo or Eyeshield 21. Like something that's taken seriously. A little bit more seriously than what Inazuma 11 is played up to be. Because Inazuma 11, from what I've been hearing, is played to be a children's anime. And if I'm going to watch a soccer anime, I might as well watch one that's around my age group anyway. That's my whole thing. Nothing against Inazuma 11, being that way. Because, if you watch Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Digimon, you don't really give a shit about ridiculousness. It's soccer. If it's going to be a children's anime I watch, I'd rather it be a ridiculous children's anime and not a children's anime that takes a real life sport and then makes it ridiculous. Because I never really got into that kind of shit. That's just me though. But just to defend Pokemon. You say there's no progression. It depends on where you're referring to. If you're talking about overall progression, like counting all 5 regions. I'm not going to say seasons, regions. Kinda. I said kinda. A lot of people want to know why I hate the 4th season. It's because the 4th season ruins the progression in the series. And the first thing you're going to say is, wait, there was progression in Pokemon before Sinnoh? Yes, there was. If you watch the series, it's kind of obvious. Season 1, Ash was a noob. Season 3, Ash was a mentor. If you kind of caught that. Like, a lot of people ask why Hoenn is my favorite. Hoenn is my favorite because Ash wasn't retarded in Hoenn. Ash, that was the first region he decided to switch out his Pokemon. But he wasn't retarded. Like, he still knew the basics of battling. He still understood type and type disadvantages. He still referenced shit from the other 2 regions. The region that fucked up his mindset and fucked up his character is Sinnoh. Because Sinnoh, he was just blatantly retarded in. And Black and White is literally carrying the bullshit spirit of Sinnoh mixed with like the spirit of Kanto. Which is why it's good, but it's not as good as it could be because it's carrying that stupid mindset that Ash doesn't know what to do with himself. Which is probably why it would never be my favorite. Hoenn is still my favorite up to date. A lot of people stop watching Pokemon around like Johto. Like Johto or Orange Island, most people stop watching. So you never actually saw the progression. He progresses in all those regions up until Sinnoh. Because first region, even the reflection of the character. Alright, now I will agree in character development. Misty and Brock are like the two worst, in terms of development, are like the two worst characters in the damn series. I will admit that. That's a fact. Even now, you know, ironically, Jay, I'm probably pissing off a whole bunch of Pokemon fans here. Because a lot of people vote, at least Misty, maybe not Brock, but a lot of people really like Misty and put Misty as the highest on the females of the Pokemon series. That's bullshit. Misty gets like 2 sets of development. Her first development is that shit relating with her sisters. When you realize she's like the youngest out of her 3 sisters, and her 3 sisters kind of bitch her out half the time. And you only get that during the episodes where either they're featured, or there was like that first episode when they first got to Cerulean City. Brock's development goes from him, it's pretty okay up until, like after the first season, he became fodder until the end of Sinnoh, essentially. Because he's like, oh, I'll become a breeder like halfway through Kanto. And that was fine. The problem is that after that, we don't see him do anything. He just kind of dicks around with it. Those are like the 2 worst characters. I am going to defend everybody past that, though. And that's going to be shocking because that does mean I'm defending Dawn in a sense, too. May and Dawn, to me, and Iris, all have development. For one, May had to go through her. The beginning of Hoenn is her going through the process of figuring out what the fuck she wants to do. Like, her parents are like, oh, you're going to become a trainer, you're going to become a trainer. But May doesn't want to become a trainer at the beginning of the series. If you watch Hoenn, she did not want to become a trainer at all. She was kind of just like, I like Pokemon, but I don't want to be a trainer. I'm not wholly into the gym battles and shit. And then like halfway, like during the beginning half of Hoenn, she's introduced to contest. Actually, we're all introduced to contest because this is the first region that shows up. And it's like, oh, and she gets really into contest. And she wants to become a contest trainer. And so now she's having to switch gears from being a gym battler to a contest battler. She looks at Ash and sees how Ash plays the whole gym battling game and sees that isn't for her. But she still respects Ash for what he does. There's a sense of respect there with her because May's are new. May is Ash in season 1 essentially, where she doesn't understand anything. And Ash was playing mentor, like the beginning of Hoenn. On top of that, you have Max, who to me counts as a little brother figure. It's like that. I mean, for God's sakes, they even developed Max as far as in the Jirachi movie and in the Ralts episode, where, you know, obviously the continuity got fucked up after this region, so nothing ever came of that, which really aggravates me. But there is an episode dedicated to Max where it's like, Max runs into a Ralts. And they kind of end up creating this bond with each other. And like the agreement with those two is now is that when Max gets older, Ralts will be his first Pokemon. It's just, you know, the unfortunate fact that the region, like the continuity with mindsets got fucked up during Sinnoh. So yeah, I will agree that I will agree to a point that Ash doesn't have any development, but it depends on the region. I mean, for God's sakes. And the other thing is when you say no development, you gotta realize in every region he gets development, even if it's fucked up, even if his mindset has been fucked up. Like in Sinnoh and Unova, he may have a fucked up mindset, but he's still going through the basics, you know. He's still having to train his Pokemon. He's still having to connect with his Pokemon. He's still having to go through, you know, the same hurdles you have to go through as a trainer no matter what region you're in. So it's not like he's not doing anything. That's my whole thing. And I've already discussed, and silent to me, a lot of people are going to defend Dawn. Dawn is going through almost the same shit as May. That's the only problem I have with Dawn, is that Dawn is literally like May in almost every way, except for May's difference in personality. That's about it. But she's still going through the hurdles of being a contest coordinator, which obviously I think the writers realized that was a bad fucking idea to redo May as Dawn, because Dawn, apparently the reception for Sinnoh was horrible. Which I'm not surprised, because Sinnoh has like the worst reception. And for the thing you don't know is after Hoenn, they go into a subsection called the Battle Frontier, which is in the games, which to me was cool because they kind of kept the game continuity, where Ash wins that too. So I guess you could say Ash wins unofficial tournaments. He was actually offered to be a Frontier brand, but he was like, no, fuck that, I'm going to be a Pokemon Master. Iris and Dent both have their own, Dent is his Japanese name. Iris and Dip both have their own character development in themselves too. For example, let's put it this way. He has kind of a setup like Brock in the beginning because he's a gym leader who gets beaten by Ash, and then he gets intrigued by how Ash does the way he does, and so he follows with Ash. The only difference is that Silence has his own personality behind him. He doesn't act like a tool. He still does things. He still acts like a gym leader even when he's not in the gym leader position. Like there are battles he'll have later on in the series where he still acts like a gym leader. He still analyzes the person he's fighting and goes through the Pokemon's, natural abilities and traits. He has a rival in this region. Iris, the same thing. Iris to me is like Misty with better development. Actually, we're getting to a Japanese episode when it gets subbed. I'll watch it, where she gets more Dragon Trainer development. So it's not like these characters don't get development. That's my whole thing. And you still have to deal with the Pokemon development. It's not like comparing Pokemon to Inazuma 11 seems weird to me because Inazuma 11 they're only focusing on the characters. With Pokemon, you're focusing on the characters and the Pokemon. It's like, to me, there's more there. And the reason why I still watch it is because it's still fun to watch, and I do like the characters. Sinnoh, I dropped halfway because Sinnoh was boring as fuck to me. In terms, it depends on what you like. I like the fact that they developed the Pokemon. I would have been more annoyed with Pokemon if we went through regions and he just caught Pokemon and that's where it stayed. I like how each Pokemon has their own personality to me. That's the other appeal. It's like each of these Pokemon go through their own development. Like the whole development with Charmander through Charizard back in the first region. In the second region, I guess you could technically, to me the second region has like the worst development in terms of Pokemon. But there is development, like how Cyndaquil, like how Ash's Cyndaquil is like naturally shy, like how his Chikorita is really like attached to him, and when he evolves into Bayleaf, he has to kind of get over, it has to kind of mellow the fuck out, and you get to Hoenn, you have a Sceptile, a Trico that he ends up meeting. The Trico ends up catching through the series that eventually becomes Sceptile. They go through like 3 stages of character development. For one, he becomes kind of like, he's kind of like this chill out Pokemon, and by the time he gets into grow out, he ends up falling in love, which leads into his evolution. And he has to go through a period where he can't attack, like he can't use any of his moves. It's like, I like that. And in Hoenn, not Hoenn, but Sinnoh has like a good development with the Chimchar. The fact that Ash's Chimchar is Paul's Chimchar, and that Chimchar has to deal with being abandoned by its trainer, getting used to Ash, and trusting in its own abilities from the scars that were left from when he was with Paul. That's a good setup for a Pokemon. And in this region, we have a lot of development with Oshawott, I believe. Yeah, Oshawott is like one of the mains in this one, where we had to deal with a point where he's kind of like Chikorita, but he's like a guy version of Chikorita where he's cocky, and he always wants to do things, even though he may not always be like the strongest. And on top of that, we also have to go through the development when he first owns Aqua Jet. We have to realize that this dude is afraid of opening his eyes in water, which seems really retarded for a water Pokemon, by the way. But it's good development, and not all water Pokemon, just because you're water type doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be perfect in the water. We had to go through a development episode where he opens his eyes in the water. So to me, to say that the series has no development makes me think you're thinking on the levels of like Naruto development, which to me is ridiculous. If this is a kid's show, I think the development is perfect. Also, I will admit that I don't like the fact that they've been repeating shit since Sinnoh, but it's only been 2 regions. Like that whole thing about how it has no progression, that's bullshit. The first 3 regions have progression. Now, if you're talking about overall from like Kanto to now, yeah, I agree with you because Sinnoh and Unova both have like this restart bullshit mentality, which is really fucking annoying, by the way. I like the fact that they introduced and plus that Inazuma 11 wasn't based off the games. So to me, I like the fact that there's game continuity within the anime. Like how the side characters, with Unova, we just went through a few episodes ago, a little while ago, we went through the whole development with Bianca and how her father wanted her to come home because she felt like she wasn't mature enough to be a trainer, and how Ash kind of backed her up because they're friends, Pokemon has its good points. It's bogged down by a lot of repetitiveness due to bad writing. Also because of the mentality of the creators of the series. The creators of the series wants it to stay a children's show. In order for it to be like Inazuma 11, or to be like Yu-Gi-Oh, or to be like Digimon, it would have to grow up its characters. And unfortunately, and I find this hilarious, by the way, for all the people who say that should happen, people stop watching Yu-Gi-Oh and Digimon. That's the problem. That's the problem with aging a series. Is that when you age it, you have to keep following it up. Like, they had to keep getting older and older to the point where it just stops becoming interesting. That's the problem with Yu-Gi-Oh and Digimon, in my opinion. Is that they age and switch over so goddamn much that you stop caring. Like, you say that Pokemon would probably be more interesting if they switched characters and had a time skip. But what's stopping you from not treating it the same way you treat Digimon and Yu-Gi-Oh? You would get up to a point, and then you would hate what the series has become, and then you would just be like, fuck it. At least this way, they're not straying from the basics of their series. Now, you know, that's an argument within itself. Do you think you should age a series? That's why I'm hoping the same thing with One Piece and Naruto, that they don't keep time skipping. Because the more you time skip, the more detached you become from the series, because it keeps changing from what you remember it to being. And the problem with Yu-Gi-Oh! And Digimon, and what probably could become a problem with Pokemon, is that it would change so much that it loses what it was. That's just my whole thing again. So it's like, Pokemon has its good points, but a lot of its bad points are shown. The whole Pikachu argument, I do think it's retarded that at the beginning of Unova, he gets his ass whooped by a trainer who's battling for the first time. That was retarded. Mind you, I don't count that fight because Pikachu couldn't use electrical attacks. Which still honestly isn't a legit reason. And it's still fucking annoying. There's a lot of things that he does in Sinnoh and Unova I hate. Most of this shit, but anything from the first 3 regions, I don't really care. Like, the first 3 regions were fine for what they were doing. He became more, the gym battles got better. He became more of a serious trainer. He wasn't dicking around like he was in the first season. All the gym battles in the second season were epic. He finally had his standoff with Gary. There was character development with Gary. Gary's character development keeps going, actually, from him realizing, he's like, you know what, I don't want to be a fucking trainer. I want to be a researcher like my grandfather. And that continues on through, I believe, Sinnoh. Like, Sinnoh was the last time we saw him. I like that. Like, it's not just bullshit continuity like people think it is. There's more to these series. There's more to Pokemon than what you would think. This is my whole thing. But I've talked for long enough. I have school later on tonight, so I'm going to chill out after I upload this. And I will catch you guys later. So this has been the Vlogs Game from your boy Terrell. Tell me what you think. Do you think Pokemon is, oh yeah, this is a response to Jay, so link in the description for Jay's, just throw out your opinions and whatnot. And if you like Inazuma 11 and you think I should get into Inazuma 11, so just give me some reasons in the comment section that don't involve spoilers. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. That's how you end videos. Vlogs Game from your boy Terrell. That's how we do it, sir.